We are learning more about the suspect charged with stabbing 4 University of Idaho students to death. Brian Koberger appeared in court in Moscow. He has not entered a plea yet. Now, according to a newly unsealed affidavit, DNA was found at the crime scene on a knife sheath near one of the victims. Investigators also detail a chilling interview with a surviving roommate who said she heard crying the night of the murders and saw a man dressed in black clothing and wearing a mask walk past her bedroom door. Well, Peter Van Sand is here with 48 Hours. Now, Peter, here in Idaho, we've been closely following this case since day one. It gets just more and more eerie. You know, the suspect, Brian Koberger's interest in criminology really stands out here. And we know that he once applied for an internship at the police department. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, just this past fall, Brian Koberger applied for an internship with the Pullman Police Department. Now, Pullman is where Washington State University is located and where he was doing his studies, and it's about 8-9 miles from where these brutal murders were committed. And some people have wondered, was he studying law to one day hopefully prevent crime, or was he studying law and situations to come up with the perfect crime? And as people search today for a motive, which we still don't have, perhaps that will emerge during the course of his trial, these are the kinds of things that are being examined to try to come up with some answer.
And we've also heard that he actually once posted a survey that was directed toward ex-cons. What exactly was he asking there?
Yeah, authorities say that a man who identified as Brian Koberger used the website Reddit to communicate with ex-cons who had committed violent crimes to find out how they did what they did, you know, how they committed the crimes themselves. And he's been described by people as a very meticulous man. And one of the fathers of the victims that I interviewed is convinced that these 4 murders were meticulously planned. And so who knows if that's true as people try to sort all of this out.
So, Peter, we know that you actually talked to Koberger's friends and colleagues. What would you say is the most surprising thing that you learned about him?
Most surprising thing is, in a way, to me, he's kind of a chameleon. To some people, he was a strong personality, very smart. To others, he was shy and awkward at times. He taught at Washington State University as a teaching assistant, and some people found him arrogant and overbearing, and a man who had some insecurities because he always would phrase things in very complicated ways to try to impress people of his intellect. One of his academic colleagues that I interviewed talked about he made a boastful statement one time that upset him, that he could go into any bar and pick up any women that he wanted, that he desired. And as we search for all of this, this psychological profile that's emerging of this man, perhaps we'll find some answers in terms of motivation, if in fact he did it. And keep in mind, he maintains that he is glad to be back in Idaho because he hopes to exonerate himself and believes that he will.
Right, yeah, and still a lot of questions here in this case. Peter, thank you so much for joining us. Well, you can watch 48 Hours. That will be this Saturday at 9 p.m. on Eyewitness News 3.